Usually when playing through any of the Fallout games, you tend to pick one class of weapon to focus your character on and stick with it. Whether it's melee weapons, energy weapons, or ballistic weapons, generally you're going to pick one of those classes and focus your character on it. What happens when you don't have that luxury though? That's why I'm asking if you can beat Fallout New Vegas by only using each weapon once. Starting out this run, I had a fairly good idea for what I wanted to do for specials this time around. I was just going to kind of distribute points evenly so that I would be effective with pretty much any weapon that I picked up, as I would need kind of the little boost this run. That's why I also went with guns and melee weapons as my tag skills, because I would be using mostly those for the majority of the run. So before we jump too far into this, I am going to take a second to explain the rules before I get going here while I'm running around Goodsprings. What do I mean by using one weapon once? Well, that means I can generally use a weapon to kill one person. I can use the caravan shotgun to kill one person. But what I mean by that as well is, so for example, I have the sturdy caravan shotgun in my inventory from the DLCs. I can use that to kill one person, but that doesn't mean that I get to go grab a regular caravan shotgun and also use that. So if I use the weathered 10mm pistol to kill something, I can't also use a regular 10mm pistol. As for explosives, they're going to kind of be a little different. I can use one explosive, so I can use one frag grenade or shoot a missile launcher once, because trying to kill one person with an explosive is too much of a headache, and I don't really feel like trying to limit myself to one death with an explosive weapon, so I'm just gonna, let myself shoot it once. As for melee weapons, the same thing applies to them as applies to guns. I can use a knife to kill one person. I can't then go pick up a unique knife and use that to kill another person. I can only use the specific weapon from that platform. If it's a unique version, I can't use the vanilla version afterwards, if that makes sense. But anyways, I used my first weapon to kill Barton Thorne, which was a shovel, which was probably a waste, but oh well, he deserved to die anyways. I then snuck in and grabbed a powder charge from the Powder Ganger camp on my way towards Hidden Valley because I could use that later. While I was here, I just discovered the location and then headed off towards Black Mountain, avoiding all the centaurs along the way because I really didn't feel like wasting any weapons at the moment. Although I did decide to stop and kill Tabitha while I was in Black Mountain using a caravan shotgun because I did want the good chunk of easy experience she offers very early on. It would allow me to level up some skills and get some extra damage before heading off towards the strip. I did stop and kill the Nightkin that had Annabelle outside using the weathered 10mm pistol, and it also dropped a hunting rifle, which I promptly used on the Nightkin below, and got a rebar club off of that, which I would use later. Not much else happened along the way towards the strip. I didn't really deal with any of the raiders near Eldorado substation because I wanted to kind of save my weapons for later. I did stop by 188 Trading Post though to do a little bit of bartering to grab some healing items and a couple weapons that I could use. I sold off a bunch of stuff that I'd either already used or didn't need and then headed off towards the strip. I took a little bit of a different route on the way there this time and ended up walking past Repcon, which I don't normally end up near, and decided I was going to use a broad machete to kill an NCR trooper because I didn't have enough caps to get into the strip and I didn't feel like aggroing the Securitrons, so I stole the uniform and headed off for the monorail. While I was in Camp McCarran, I got lost for a couple minutes, but I did eventually make my way towards the strip and figured that my first stop should obviously be the tops so that I could get the platinum chip from Benny. I didn't really have a good plan going in here. I didn't feel like fighting the chairman one-on-one because that would waste a lot of weapons, so I just used a throwing spear on Benny in his room to kill him and get the platinum chip before talking to Yes Man so that I could start his quest line. With that done, I headed out of the tops and made sure to waste a shitty-ass recharger rifle killing Vulpes because, again, the weapon is, fairly worthless, so I figured wasting it on him wasn't too bad of an idea. I then stopped by the Ultralux and killed Mortimer and Marjorie with 2 different weapons. I used the Silence 22 pistol and a kitchen knife to off both of them before heading off and dealing with the Omertas. I only killed a handful of the Omertas while I was here. I think I went through a 9mm pistol, a 357 Magnum, a 44 Magnum, and a long fuse dynamite before leaving and heading off to deal with Mr. House and the Securitron upgrade footage. God, I hate this. After that, I wasted a laser pistol killing Emily Ortel because she doesn't deserve to live, and I'm perfectly fine wasting a weapon. After that, I spent 3 weapons trying to kill old Ben, a frag mine, a powder charge, and eventually my fists when the 2 explosives somehow didn't kill him, which was kind of surprising. But I also wasted a BB gun on a dog right outside the gunrunners. Not entirely sure why. I then used a nail board to kill a sleeping settler outside, and then used a power fist to kill a wasteland legend because I wanted his combat armor. It was, pretty good considering I was headed off to the boomers. Boy oh boy, the boomers were fun. So I kind of decided what I was going to do on the way there. I didn't have a plan in mind to begin with, but I wasted a varmint rifle killing George because, it's just a necessity. I killed Pearl by bonking her with a rebar club, which made sense for the senior citizen since I wanted to cripple her brain. I used a grenade launcher on Jack and Loyal, except Loyal somehow survived the explosion, so I had to waste another weapon on him in the form of a single shotgun. Not too big of a loss, as I don't like the single shotgun. A combination of the grenade launcher, sledgehammer, 9mm SMG, and service rifle killed the rest of the boomers in the hangar. I mostly did this because I wanted access to the grenades, mines, and missile launchers and everything that were around there, although I seem to have forgotten that I had Annabelle already, so I just used the missile launcher as collateral to buy other weapons. Speaking of, I stopped by the gunrunners to pick up some stuff, and then ran into a massive group of fiends, which I did not think I was going to be able to fight properly. I was correct. This went absolutely poorly, so after dying, I reloaded an old save and took a different route to the Great Khans, who I used a frag grenade, a ripper, as well as a assault carbine to deal with, the ones in the longhouse anyways. Outside, I had a few more Khans to kill before the quest would be considered complete, so I used a lever action shotgun on one, I used a trail carbine on another, and then I ended up using a combat knife to kill one last one, and by this point I was running stupidly low on weapons. By the time I was done with the Khans, I had a hunting shotgun and a pulse grenade left. The pulse grenade I was saving to use on the Brotherhood because it has a bonus damage effect against power armor, which I figured I would probably need if I was going to deal with the Brotherhood. So after some slight contemplation, I headed off towards Hidden Valley to do what needed to be done. Yeah, the pulse grenade made the Brotherhood stupidly easy. I killed 3 Brotherhood members with a single pulse grenade, and looted a couple decent guns off their corpse, that being a tri-beam laser rifle, which I used to kill one of the paladins that ambushed me after I had killed the initial group, and a 10mm SMG to take down the other one. I also got a Gauss rifle to save for later, and headed back to the gunrunners to hopefully pick up a few more weapons that I could use for the run. I'm not sure why, but there was a random fiend that just spawned by Crimson Caravan, and the NCR took absolutely forever to kill it, and I wanted to go over there and watch, but I ended up getting 3 limbs crippled by a grenade launcher. After that, I went off to the Silver Rush because energy weapons were a route that I really hadn't invested into yet this run, so there was plenty of choices for me to pick up here. I ended up grabbing a flamer as well as some assorted plasma weapons before heading off towards the fort to upgrade the Securitrons. I immediately wasted the flamer on a golden gecko and found a random Securitron that was getting into a fight with a group of legionnaires, so I just left them to it and ran away. Once I'd made it to the fort, the Legion hated me already for some reason, which I'm not entirely sure why, as I'd only really killed Vulpes, so I just ran as much as I could, but got ambushed by a whole big group of them as soon as I stepped in the doors, so I used the incinerator that I had picked up earlier to kill a puppy, I used a sawed-off shotgun to kill another one of the Legionnaires, and then I decided I was going to run away. Down in the bunker, it was fairly normal in here, except when I upgraded the Securitrons, I noticed that the entire Legion seemed to have followed me in there and didn't get into a fight with the robots, so I just left. I ran away. Yeah, I wasn't proud of that, but you know what? I wasn't wasting all the weapons that I had stocked up on. Except for this 5mm pistol because, the one Legionnaire was annoying me. Also a baseball bat on Malcolm Holmes. You know what? I regret nothing for that one. I then spent a copious amount of time gambling so that I could stock up on some more weapons before heading to the last little bit of the game. I was here for probably 45 minutes, trying to get around 10,000 caps, which I used to purchase an anti-material rifle, a katana, and something else that I don't really remember. I'm sure it wasn't important. I killed Mr. House with a random switchblade that I found off of someone's corpse, and headed off to deal with Yes Man inserting himself into Mr. House's nice, tight mainframe. I have no idea why I decided to make that joke here. I'm so sorry. The Eldorado substation was quick and painless. I was in and out of there faster than really anything. I didn't want to waste any weapons there, so it was off to the second battle of Hoover Dam. I started out by fisting a Great Khan with a pair of brass knuckles that I bought from, I think, Chet, or something, I don't really remember. I used a tire iron to beat the shit out of one of the NCR heavy troopers, and I was going to use a laser RCW to kill the other one, but the Securitron got him before I could even pull the weapon out. I powered up the Securitron army underneath the fort and headed off to deal with the rest of the game after a Securitron rudely interrupted me. I used a battle rifle to kill the first guard in the Legate's camp, and then I used a fire axe to kill the second. At this point, I just kind of wanted to waste my melee weapons instead of the actual guns, because I was going to save those for the Legate. I used a katana to kill one of the other guards, and then for the final guard, I went ahead and used my chainsaw. I also ended up using my incendiary grenade somewhere. I don't remember where, but it just kind of disappeared from my inventory. The Legate, I started out by just grenade launchering and then somehow one-shotting with an anti-materia rifle. I'm not entirely sure how I managed to one-shot him, but you know what? I'm gonna take it. Anyways, General Oliver arrived, and I used the Legate's blade to kill him, and by this point I had a singular weapon left, a Gauss rifle. I ended up killing around 65 people this run, albeit I didn't use 65 different weapons. Most of that was probably from explosive kills like the Great Khan Longhouse or the Brotherhood or, you know, the Boomers, but otherwise this run was actually fairly fun. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. And because I'm a sellout, I'm going to go ahead and plug my Patreon. So check that out if you feel like supporting the channel that way, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.